Hey, budget besties, welcome back to my channel where we dive deep into all things budgeting and cash stuffing. I'm Sasha and I'm on a mission to become debt free $1 at a time. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to start cash stuffing, which is also known as the cash envelope system. But before we dive into the details, I wanted to share a little personal milestone with you. I've been implementing the cash envelope system for about 11 months now, and let me tell you, the results have been incredible. In this relatively short period, I've managed to pay off well over $20,000 in debt. Yes, you heard that right. I'm incredibly proud of my progress so far, and I am so close to being debt free. So I know firsthand how overwhelming debt can be and the feelings of being trapped in a never ending cycle of payments. But let me tell you, with dedication, discipline, and the power of the cash envelope system, I've been able to make significant progress towards financial freedom. And if I can do it, so can you. So, in today's video, I'm going to share how to start cash stuffing, but I'll also provide you with practical tips, step by step guidance, and all the insights I've gathered during my 11-month journey. In this video, we'll explore how the cash envelope system can help you regain control over your finances. From creating your envelopes to setting up your budget categories, we'll cover it all. I'll share the strategies that have worked for me. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of my budgeting tips and tricks. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to show your support. All right, my fellow budget besties, let's dive right in. So, the first step in implementing the cash envelope system is to create a comprehensive budget. This will help you gain a clear understanding of your income, expenses, and your financial obligations. One effective way I have found to track my bills and due dates is by using a calendar. Here's what I do: grab a calendar, any calendar, whether it's a physical one or a digital version on your phone or computer. I grabbed this one off of a Google search. So you're going to want to start off by writing down all your fixed expenses, such as your rent, mortgage payment, utility bills, insurance, any subscriptions you have, phone bills, basically any recurring payments that you have. So be sure to note the amounts with the item on the due date. So for example, you've got your, say, rent. Oops. So you've got your rent, say your phone bills on the 10th. And you've got your hydro, and that comes out on the 15th. So you're going to want to work through the calendar here, make note of everything. I'm a very visual person, so I find this very helpful by visualizing the due dates with the corresponding amounts. You'll also have a better grasp of when and how much you need to set aside for each bill. This method has been a game changer for me because it has helped me align my paychecks with my financial obligations. So, knowing where your bills fall in line with your paycheck allows you to allocate the right amount of cash into each envelope, ensuring you're always prepared to cover your expenses. This proactive approach eliminates the stress of scrambling to find money when a due date approaches, which used to be me. I was scrambling. Remember, the key to successful budgeting is planning and staying organized. So, next up is your budget. So, after writing out your fixed expenses on the calendar, we have a clear picture of our financial obligations. It's now time to allocate our income towards our variable expenses, debt payments, and savings. So, to determine how much money to allocate to each category, a helpful starting point is to review your past 3 months of bank statements. By doing this, you gain a thorough understanding of your spending habits and identify areas where you can make adjustments. So, as you go through your bank statements, pay close attention to recurring expenses or subscriptions that you may no longer use or need. It's surprising how quickly these costs can add up over time. By identifying and cutting out unnecessary expenses, you can free up more money to allocate towards debt payments, savings, or other financial goals. I know for me that I definitely found a couple of subscriptions in there that I was no longer using, and that saved me a little bit of money. So, additionally, analyze your spending patterns in different categories such as groceries, dining out, entertainment, and transportation. Calculate the average amount you've been spending in each category over the past 3 months. This exercise will give you a realistic sense of your variable expenses and help you set appropriate budget limits for each category going forward. When it comes to debt payments, review your statements to determine the minimum amount due for each debt. However, if you can afford to contribute more towards debt repayment, consider doing so. Every extra dollar you put towards paying off your debts will help you become debt free faster. I'm not going to go into detail of how you should pay off your debt in this video. There are a couple of methods, like the snowball method or the debt avalanche method. I'm going to save that topic for another day. So, lastly, let's talk about savings. Reviewing your past spending habits will shed light on how much you've been able to save, if any. I know for me, I was not saving. So, take note of the amount and consider if you can increase it. Even small increments can make a significant difference in the long run. By using your past 3 months of bank statements as a guide, you can gain valuable insights into your spending habits and make informed decisions about how much money to allocate towards variable expenses, debt payments, and savings. If you're not sure how you should be allocating your money towards each category, the 50-30-20 budgeting method is a great start. With this, you'll allocate 50% towards your necessities. So that would be like your bills and your expenses. That would be necessities. 30% towards wants, which would also be some of your expenses and maybe even some of your savings. And then 20% on savings and debt repayment. I'm often asked what percentages I do, and honestly, I don't follow this method right now. I know that I have reduced my expenses as much as I possibly can and while remaining comfortable. And I'm being very aggressive with my debt payoff. So I'm actually putting more like 50%, if not more, of my monthly income towards debt right now. I'm also pro saving while paying off debt. I'm saving for items like Christmas, birthdays, clothing. These are all expenses I'm going to have. And so it only makes sense for me to be prepared for them as opposed to throwing every dollar towards debt. Now, that's just me. I am not a financial expert, but that's how I'm managing my money. I also just want to mention that I make a budget each and every paycheck. My pay fluctuates between paychecks, and not only that, life changes. So I assign each dollar every payday a purpose. So this is kind of just my paycheck budget sheet. You can honestly do this on a piece of paper, but you're going to want to work through it, write out your paycheck amount, write out all of your bills, which we've kind of already figured out here on our monthly calendar, write out your debts and the amount that you're budgeting towards it. Your expenses, those would be things like groceries, gas, maybe dining out. Uh, and then we've got our savings. So I like to save for things like my sinking funds, save for clothing, my hair, um, things of that nature. Maybe it's Christmas, maybe it is saving for retirement. You got to make this work for you. So write it all out, assign every dollar. Um, and that's kind of the rundown on how to make a budget. Okay, so now that we've established our budget and allocated our income towards different categories, it's time to set up our cash envelopes. So, as some of you may know, I actually sell binders like this one with customized envelopes, which are designed specifically for the cash envelope system. They're a great way to stay organized and add a touch of personalization to your budgeting journey. However, I want to emphasize that when you're just starting out, plain envelopes work perfectly fine too. The most important thing is to give the cash envelope system a try and see if it works for you. Start by using whatever envelopes you have on hand. The goal is to get started and experience the power of the system firsthand. Once you've given the cash envelope system a fair shot and you find that it's effective in helping you manage your money, then consider saving up and investing in a more sophisticated setup. Remember, the success of the cash envelope system lies in its ability to help you stay accountable, track your spending, and make intentional financial decisions. Whether using plain envelopes or a customized setup, the system's principles remain the same. So, you'll want to label each envelope for the category you've gotten written down on your budget. So, I personally do not cash stuff my bills. This is a personal preference. For me, I leave that money in my account as my bills are all paid for online, and then this reduces the amount of withdrawals and deposits I need to make. I only go to the bank once every paycheck. Okay, so now that we have our budget and our envelopes are all ready, it's time to put cash in them. So I like to use my bill breakdown sheet. This sheet serves as a guide to ensure that we accurately allocate the right denominations of bills to each envelope. So here's how it works. On the bill breakdown sheet, you're going to write down each category that you'll be cash stuffing and the corresponding amount for each category. So as you go through the list, you tally up the number of bills you'll need for the various denominations, such as 5, 10, 20, 50, or 100. This will then give you a clear understanding of the denominations you need to withdraw from the bank. So for groceries here, I need 125. I'd like a larger bills for this, so I'm going to have 125. So I'm going to go all the way through the list and then add them up at the bottom here. Okay, so I've tallied it all up here. I know that I need $255 in cash. This is just an example. um, so I've got 1 5. So 1 times 5 is 5, and then I've added all up here. This equals 225. So I know that I've got the right amount here. Oh, I'm sorry, 255. All right. So it's all about double checking your work. As you can see there, I make mistakes often with numbers. Um, so once you've worked this out, you're going to go to the bank, withdraw the necessary bills. You can use the bill breakdown sheet as a reference. Take the bills and place them into the corresponding envelopes based on the allocated amounts for each category. So this way, you're going to have the exact cash you need for each expense category. So now that your envelopes have been stuffed, it's time to start spending while staying within your budget. It's important to resist the temptation to dip into other envelopes if you run out of cash in one category. This is where discipline comes into play. If you find yourself frequently needing to borrow from other envelopes, it may be a sign that you need to adjust the amounts allocated to each category, or maybe reassess your spending habits. Remember that the purpose of the cash envelope system is to help you make intentional financial decisions and to prioritize your spending. So, if you find that certain items or expenses aren't necessary at this time, it may be worth cutting back on them to stay within your budgeted amounts. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about tracking your spending. So, tracking your spending is a crucial step in successfully managing your finances with the cash envelope system. It allows you to have a clear overview of where your money is going, and it helps you stay accountable to your budget. One method I personally find effective is using my monthly Google spreadsheet. It's a convenient and accessible way to keep track of your expenses. I also want to quickly mention that I'm in the process of designing a cash stuffing budgeting app called Budget Bestie. So, this app will make your entire cash stuffing process that much easier, and it will provide the ability to track your spending. I'm including a link below. Check it out, guys. Alternatively, some individuals prefer using sheets within their binder. This way, everything is neatly organized in one place, making it easy to track expenses as they occur. You can have separate sheets dedicated to each spending category, allowing you to monitor your cash flow within each envelope. Whichever method you choose, the key is to be diligent in recording your expenses. Make it a habit to update your spreadsheets or sheets regularly, ideally on a daily basis. So, this way, you have an up to date picture of your spending habits and can make adjustments if needed. So, tracking your spending also enables you to identify any areas where you might be overspending or where you have room to cut back. By reviewing your expenses, you can make informed decisions and ensure that you're staying on track with your financial goals. In addition to tracking your spending, it's beneficial to periodically review your budget and make adjustments as necessary. Life circumstances and financial priorities change, so it's essential to adapt your budget accordingly. So, mastering the cash envelope system is all about consistency and being ready to adapt. Each paycheck, take a moment to check in on your budget, make any necessary tweaks, and stay motivated by setting clear financial goals. So thanks for hanging out with me today, and I can't wait to hear about your progress. Stay tuned for more budgeting tips and tricks coming your way on my channel. But until then, happy cash stuffing and keep rocking that journey to financial freedom. Bye, budget besties.